Thank you so much for your time, indeed.
Pleasure.
How would you define yourself? Family man, lawyer, philanthropist?
Well, Praveen, this is everybody has to be man first, and that too, because you remain in the family, so you have to be family man first. Then you come out, study, go to school, learn something from surroundings. Then you become something. So you become something like maybe doctor, maybe lawyer, maybe some job somewhere. The second comes, I become a lawyer. And third is, of course, philanthropist, because there's something that you have, society has to be given back what society has given you. This time has come. Now you can say I'm a philanthropist because 6 decades almost I have seen in my life. So that third word is a philanthropist is the right word for me, because now I'm thinking to be the society, whatever I can do in a big way. And of course, thankful to you. You are here. You may guide me something.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say that. So I think you had like 5 maybe decades of long legal career, if I'm not wrong, maybe 4 decades?
Yeah, 4.5.
4.5. Let's say 5.
4.5.
After half we
46 years I put in profession.
Right. So that's wealth of experience you have achieved and acquired throughout your legal journey, sir. And what keeps you still going? What motivates you still to pursue the legal profession?
Well, if you ask me, frankly, I tell you, law is the ocean and a Pacific Ocean. Howsoever deep you may go, still you feel there is further depth is there, which untouched. So subject is vast. Nobody can say he is the master of the law or he has read the entire law. So I think still I have to learn. If once a case comes to me today, I have to not only refresh my memory, I have to do a research of the subject. From the stage 1, I ask my staff, I ask my juniors to research afresh. And there's a lot of, believe me, I'm hungry to learn more and more about the law, at least, because I love the subject, law. I love my profession. This profession has given me a lot. I don't think, had I been in some other profession, I would have been here, or I would have tasted the kind of you can say success. The stage, I won't put success, but I say it's a stage, because success is something different. But this is stage which I'm enjoying. I'm contented with my work. So this is something, it's a great, and I again say that I'm hungry to learn more and more about the law.
That's incredible. So in your kind of beginning years of legal career, did you choose the law or law chose you?
Very interesting question. Actually, in fact, our family has a lot of lands. We were quite big holdings, one of the big holdings. So my father has a lot of litigation before my birth even, for the land. And he used to go to the courts, meet lawyers, and he had about 5-6 matters about the land revenue matters, some civil matters, some semi-civil and criminal matters, in the villages. So my father was really, on one hand, he was fed up to go to the lawyer's office and fighting cases. But at the same time, he was mesmerized the way the lawyers that time also used to lead the case, and he was very happy. And he thought that once everything is fine, he would like to make one of his son as a lawyer. And by chance, you can say that in 1958, when I born, the day I born, that was the last case my father won it. And he said, "Oh, now it's fine. This boy will become the lawyer for me now." So that was that my father decided even from my prior to my birth even that I'll become a lawyer.
So this was a chosen field for you.
Yeah, this was, I think it was by luck, I'll put it, because I never thought of anything except the lawyer.
And any of your brothers, may I ask, did they become lawyer?
Yes. After me, There are a number of my cousins, my brother, my other relatives. There are about dozen lawyers in my family. I was the first one.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you were the first one.
I was the first one.
So the journey from a small town between Muzaffarnagar and Bagpat called Baraut to Buckingham Gate.
Well, it's an interesting journey. Interesting, Praveen. If you ask me, Baraut is a very far place from here, about 4,000 kilometers. And where I live in Delhi, from there also about 60 kilometers. It's not very well developed. It was when I was there. But fortunately, we had good colleges. And I'm told before independence, Baraut has 2-degree college. So my father was posted there as a substitution officer because he was working in the State Electricity Board. So he used to see a lot of educated people, professors, engineers coming there and working. So he thought that this is the right place, and one day I'll make all my boys to sit and in their classes in the college, and he will become something like every father dreams for the children.
Absolutely.
Same way. So there we were. Of course, we belonged to a village about 15 kilometers inside the Baraut. And from our village, the radius of 15 kilometers, there was no Pakka road. There was no transport means also. There was no bus, no cars, nothing. It was a on-foot journey. But we managed. We managed to, at times we go on foot for 15 kilometers once in a week or so. Then I used to stay there in the hostel till my father was posted back there. Then we got the government quarters there. Then we started living there in the Baraut. I studied my graduation there. I was there. And then my father always said, look, you have to become a lawyer. I say, oh, I know I have to become a lawyer. Of course, that time I was quite young and I was having like every boy has in UP or maybe close to Bollywood, impact.
So that was catching up at that time.
I was trying to become, I say, let me become this actor. Wow, what the life they have. And then it's screen. But father said, nothing doing, you have to become a lawyer. He used to remind me every now and then. So no option. So then ultimately I had to shift from Baraut to Meerut at district level. There was a law college, Meerut College, Meerut. Meerut University it used to be that time. Then after doing my law, once I mentioned my father's law I'm told his practice is quite tough. He said, nothing doing, you have to do LLM as well. He scolded me. I said, fine, because the father is a father.
Of course.
And my father was quite a strong personality. Of course, he was a wonderful man. He loved us like anything. Same as we respected him. So I followed my father's decision, and I started getting my post-graduation in the law in Meerut College again. After doing LLM, my father said, you have to go to Allahabad. But here I differ my father. Father's Allahabad High Court that time used to have a big name.
Of course, it's in the different direction as well. Yes. Yeah.
But I said, we'll go Allahabad because Allahabad somehow I heard during my law college tenure that not very good, so many judges, and it is difficult to have the cases, and so much of toutism is there. I hated that. I wanted some sophisticated kind of practice.
Right.
So I thought, let me go to Delhi High Court. I decided. And I just mentioned when I was doing my LLM, I mentioned to one of my lecturers, because I was very close to my lecturers, my teachers. They used to love me like anything. I used to respect them a lot. And I remember still one Mr. A.C. Mathur. A.C. Mathur, he was a very good teacher. He used to teach us the IPC. And in the second semester and third semester, he was teaching us, I think, CRPC. So I said, sir, now it's almost final. We had done, I'm doing LLM now. I want to practice. My dad says, can you guide me? He wants me to go to Allahabad. I don't want to go. Can you guide me from the Delhi? I want to practice Delhi High Court because Supreme Court is there. Because my dream was Supreme Court as well. Then he said, yes, why not? I mean, I got my cousin, Mr. D.C. Mathur, you go there, talk to him. I came Delhi without telling my father. Because my father wanted me to go to Allahabad. So I met Mr. D.C. Mathur. And he introduced me one gentleman, Sikh gentleman, Mr. K. Sharma. He was a senior advocate. He was a QC that time. And because the practice and the system in India is not similar to the England. In UK, the system is different. Here, there's a dual system. You have to go to solicitor, then solicitor engage the barrister. There you can go to the advocates directly, but not the senior advocate.
Of course.
Yeah. So I met him, and he was such a wonderful guru for me. He taught me ABCD of the practice of law, and I started. Of course, there's ups and downs in the profession. At times you get case, at times you don't get case, at times you get proper fees, at times you don't get the proper fees. So the struggle was there, no doubt. But end of the day, ultimately, I came to this stage that you name the act, I have dealt with the matter in the beginning. Name the legislation, I read it, I dealt with the matter up to Supreme Court. There's criminal matters, civil matters, revenue matters, even taxation, which is a forbidden subject to a criminal lawyer or a civil lawyer. But I remember one line, you will surprise, my senior, Mr. K. Sharma, used to tell me, Mr. Sharma, what is the subject which interests you more? I say, sir, I want to become a specialist in the arbitration. Then he scolded. He said, no, this is not the way to become the good lawyer. You come on Sunday or Saturday or a cup of tea, we'll discuss it all. He was so generous. He was so sweet a man. He invited me for a breakfast in his house in Defense Colony. I remember it was A62, first floor he used to live. And very nice man. And his wife was so sweet lady. They received me very well on Saturday morning. He said, Sharma Sahab, welcome. Today we'll take your class. I was scared. I said, senior, you can ask anything. And he said, oh, you don't know this much, you have to improve this. I was really scared. But he was just joking. Later on, I came to know. And on the tea, he told me, he asked me, he said, you know Kishore Kumar? I said, yes, sir, I know. He's a very famous singer and the top of the world. He's a big name.
And a namesake to you as well.
Yeah, and that's of course my name. Of course, my name, sir. Then I said, do you know Mohammed Rafi? I said, yes, Mohammed Rafi. I said, what a voice, sir. He said, do you know Lata Mangeshkar? I said, I know. I'm just hearing songs every day. Then after a pause, he said, do you know Jagjit Singh? I said, I know him also. He said, you know what is he doing? I said, he is a ghazal singer only. How does he sing? I say, he's okay. He's good ghazal singer. He's upcoming. He said, have you seen him or heard him singing a duet or some good song? I said, never, sir. He cannot. He said, that is the difference. You should be versatile. You should know the law. You should not know only the one side of law, one subject or one act. This is not, I don't appreciate it. You should be versatile. If you are traveling somewhere in an aircraft, next person sitting next to you, he has some problem, he start discussing with you. Suppose he has a criminal problem. He says something related to the criminal law. You say, no, I'm doing arbitration. So he will not be having a good impression of yours. Lawyer is a lawyer. You should be versatile. You should know every side of law. Where you expertise, that's separate issue. You can have your expertise somewhere. That's separate issue. But you must know the law. You must be familiar to a great extent to all the laws. All the laws. So that's why I read all the laws. But now, after getting silk, I got silk in 2009, almost 14 years. Now I do practice only commercial law. and arbitration, mostly arbitration. Before arbitrators, I have become arbitrator also number of matters. Before the arbitrators, with the court also, in Supreme Court or High Court, commercial courts. So that is the practice now. Expertise is concerned.
Right.
And the financial laws, not other side, but I'm not saying that I do not know. Still I can advise, but I do not prefer to advise. I prefer, 4.5 decade has already gone. So let's limit ourselves to a limited kind of a work, which is really handy for me.
So from versatility, you
So
decided
now that arbitration has brought me from Baraut to the Buckingham, because I had got some conference here, arbitration conference. I had some arbitration here. I do at times, once in a year or two, I get a case of international arbitration. I do arbitration in Dubai as well. So this is story from Baraut to Buckingham Gate.
But you perhaps if you can highlight more a little bit about Baraut to Buckingham Gate story. So you obviously have got practice in India, and you are a senior advocate in India,
Yes.
which is the silk and the QC
Yeah.
equivalent in UK's term. And then you are also having a barrister's chamber here as well, a door tenant
Yes,
position
yes.
with one of the chambers. Would you like to just share a little bit?
Well, that is also a very interesting story, because I tell you, I just go back in 70s. My father, I remember still distinctively, he wanted me to become a barrister.
Right.
Of course, my father never knew how to become a barrister. And frankly, even that time, even I never knew how to become a barrister or how to contact a barrister. After joining the law, I came to know barrister is the training BPTC you have to have in the England. Out of the 4 inns, you have to join one of the inn, you have to become the member. Then you have to have some pupillage somewhere, 1 year compulsorily, then you have to do it. So in this, but I used to get a lot of work. Entire Europe I have been working. I started my office I remember in 2006 in England, when I was a lawyer, when I was not conferred a silk even. In 2006, I opened my office in Richmond, and I had good clientele from entire Europe. I used to travel Switzerland very frequently. I remember in a year, I went 12 times in Switzerland. And once it happens at the immigration, the gentleman who allowed me to go to inside the Switzerland in the morning, the same was the duty. In the evening also, when I was leaving Switzerland, he said, what happened? What's wrong in my country? Because I never seen in my life any person who is coming in the morning, going back in the evening. As a tourist, I said, I'm not a tourist. I'm a lawyer. I came for a conference here. I had a meeting with the client, and I have to come again 3 days after that, because there's serious discussion is there. So I have worked all over here. And then I came to know what is the barrister is. Then I decided, look, let me try my hand. And I think if I remember correctly, Mr. Parveen, you were there. You met me and in some conference.
Yes.
If you remember, WBO conference we met. And there you introduced me some gentlemen. And in 36, I remember. And they were impressed. And they look at my experience, my CV, and they offered me the tenancy. Then I became the door tenant here.
I think you are perhaps one of the few Indian lawyers who have managed to establish their kind of strong foot in London legal market, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, you're right. Because in fact, I've seen some like a lot of people, and I've seen other papers also. I was the third one actually.
Yeah.
First, Mr. Salvik, he joined the Blackstone as a door tenant. Then Mr. Gopal Subramaniam, he joined the 3BB. And then I was there. I joined the 36 Bedford Row.
That's a huge milestone.
Yeah, nowadays a lot of people have come up and join, you see.
Yes.
Of course, they are not getting that work also, but nowadays it's not like something, they're not coming or getting this tag. This is just getting tag for nothing.
Right, okay. Yeah. So it's becoming more like a fashion.
Fashion, it's a fashion. Right. Yeah, more like a fashion. So that is the story.
No, but this is incredible story, sir. So from Baraut to Buckingham Gate, I think I like that.
Yeah, because now 3 years back we have shifted from Richmond to the
Yeah.
Buckingham Gate House.
Right.
So this is an entire complete story from Baraut to Buckingham Gate. This is that.
And so I'm sure there were many times in your life you had struggle because you were not coming from a regular legal background, like a family wise.
Yeah.
Of course, your dad, I can hear that he was very supportive, so you had a full family support. But then on your own, and again, you were kind of maybe fortunate enough to have Mr. Mathur as your mentor, or a guide, or a teacher, whichever way you want to put him, or a senior leader who was able to help you and kind of maybe establish initially that you want to be more multi-traded person rather than just specializing in one stream of law. So, but my question is, sir, throughout this whole thing, did you? I'm sure, like everybody does, but how did you look at the struggle? I'm sure you had. Everybody gets that.
Well, in this profession, if somebody has come up without any struggle, that can be outrightly said is an exception. This profession, to my mind, one should not come without any struggle. The more the struggle, the more you learn, I tell you. The more the struggle, the more you learn. And in the beginning, of course, you feel like slogging. You are not getting the dues which you deserve. But there is self-calculation. And we calculate ourselves at a very higher pedestal. But the time tells you where you belong to, what you should get, what you should not get. So, in fact, if you ask me in the beginning, first 3-4 years of my practice, 1980 onwards, it really made me realize that it's a struggle. But once it has come in my nature, it has become a habit. And once this struggle became my habit, I became, in other words, successful lawyer. But if you ask me, I think I'm not successful because I don't know how to define a success. Because to my mind, successful is different, contentment is different. Success is in the eyes of others. To me, success is like when contentment comes to me, when I'm contented, the kind of work I have done, the kind of opportunity I have got and I have delivered to the best of my knowledge and ability. That is the contentment. So I'll say I'm contented the kind of work I have done, the kind of work came to me, the kind of clients came to me, the kind of money I have, the kind of remuneration the people paid me back for my work. I feel that I'm contented. People take it as success.
Maybe if I can ask, when was in your career when you started feeling that contentment?
The full contentment, I cannot say that today it is there because still I'm hungry to have different kind of work. But okay. Contentment, like,
well, let's say the glimpse, maybe initial appearances.
Initial after months, because when I was conferred a silk in 2014 August, I have to remember, it was a big day for me.
Right. So that was an achievement.
Right. Sense of achievement, because in those days, to confer a silk, to get a silk was not a easy job. It used to be not only merit, it is something more than the merit.
Right.
Merit, a lot of people have, but something more than that. Your integrity. The judges, all judges, they think you deserve that. You have that art of advocacy. You can present the case not one style, but different style. You will phrase sentences, you will rephrase it to convey to the judge what you want to convey to them. And they think, yes, he can at times convince us, even if they are quite sitting at them and no, we'll not get convinced. So that is an art of advocacy. People sometimes put it as a court craft.
Right.
So apart from merit, you should have the court craft, integrity, your moral should be very high. You should not have been ever called by some other, intention. Or people should know that you are the very honest and sincere person and then advocate. That is something which used to be, in addition to that, expertise. Like, unless you're expert of it, like to me, people used to tell me that he's an expert of CPC. lot of lawyers used to come to me when they used to the confused or some kind of a problem comes to them. Their judges not agreeing with them about the CPC, how to move about it, which kind of provision can be invoked, and how the clients can be given a relief under the law. So people used to call me that time, is the expert of CPC. Is there this like mobile CPC? The procedure, I was so good in the procedure. So I think, to my mind, people have acknowledged that my work, my struggle probably has given me that kind of a satisfaction. The clients, the judges might have felt it that he deserved that. But I think it's something more than merit, your integrity, morality, and expertise, the court craft, how you behave in the court, how you behave with the colleagues, how you behave with the clients, how you just charge them reasonably well. So a lot of things used to be there that time.
Reasonably well in their terms or lawyers' terms?
Lawyer stuff.
So I have a question here, so on a lighter note. So, I mean, I know the virtues can be different for different people as in terms of definition-wise, but do you think that there are some virtues which are good for lawyers? First question. And in relation to that, are they able to help lawyer compete in the environment they work? Because I think what you're describing is a kind of holistic personality of a lawyer where they have to touch upon all these relationship variants and be good at that. But then...
yes, you're right. Virtues, balance, well, it is depends from man to man. But the bottom line is, if you are sincere, you are honest to your work, and you do not judge the brief which comes to you, to my mind, that is one of the best virtue or most important virtue for a lawyer. He should be confined to his work as a lawyer. He should not become a judge while doing or playing the role of a lawyer sitting in his chamber. At times, I've seen my practice, client comes to him, there's a problem. Oh, you are going to lose. Oh, you are going to win. Oh, it's going to happen. I know I've done a lot of matters, but no. You should not judge. You said, it appears to be a good case. Let's see what's going to happen, because you do not know. I have seen number of good cases, we could not succeed. The number of bad cases, we were able to convince the judge. Because I feel personally, law is living like a language. It changes. The society changes. Because society is meant for the law, or the law is meant for society. You can decide very well. There's no doubt about it.
No, I agree. Yeah.
Law is meant for us. We are not meant for the law.
Yeah.
So therefore, one should remain a lawyer, number one. He should not judge the brief. Otherwise, somebody commit a murder, you have seen it, and you are a criminal lawyer. He comes to you, oh, I've seen, I know, you can't win it. It means then you are not doing justice with your profession.
Is there any example you can give? Something from your career, maybe?
Well, I have not come across myself because I
adopted this quite early to yourself. Okay.
Yeah,
maybe
come across myself because I have been doing criminal cases in the beginning of my career. Then I stopped it because I used to have sleepless nights when my client was inside or bail was not granted. I say it's not my cup of tea. Then I started the civil side and the commercial side.
Right.
That was,
even in civil or commercial or any, I think, I'm just thinking if you are able to share something from maybe others who you come across where they thought a case which was not supposed to be a winnable case. And then what happens, maybe they have worked hard or they managed to engage well as on the principle.
Yeah, it happens every day. Now as a senior advocate, the advocates engaged us. They briefed us,
right?
And they said, "Sir, the client has said, the Vakil Sahib has said he's not going to win the matter. Now, can you help us?"
But still, he has to do the quorum. Okay.
Yeah. So when they come to me, and a number of times it happened, especially in the corporate matters, because the people do not really study the law. Nowadays, the lawyers, with all full regard to them, they don't really go to that depth which we used to go in our time.
Right.
And we have that habit to go to that depth in today. in commercial law, because it depends upon a lot of documents. One has to go through every document between the lines. You have to read it, see to it, what is the meaning of it. Then you have to research what the law has been till date, how much you can mold in the favor of client, because the client is right. He has done nothing wrong. Then it is our duty as a senior advocate to go to the court that he's not done anything wrong. Why should he be punished? Why should he lose the money? He should be given his dues. He should be given his the benefit, whatever the profit, whatever it is. So it happened number of times. The clients comes to us, the lawyers comes to us.
Right. Okay. So when you look at, let's say, India, UK sort of cases, and like your arbitration you mentioned, I'm not moving away from the general kind of conversation about the lawyers and their kind of acumen, but I think I just wanted to touch upon the areas or the practices, what you're looking at the moment when it comes to both countries.
Well, a very interesting question. Interesting question, because a lot of people are trying to have cross-border litigation handling or the arbitrations. A lot of people claims they are doing, but the data are available. How many of them are doing? How many of are not doing is available to them. But if you ask me frankly, I am doing since 2006. My presence in this country is here, and 2-3 of my clients are foreign clients. One of my client is since 1985 is with me. They are based in Australia, and they have offices in almost 54 or 55 countries. Now they have in a big way opened their establishments in Singapore and UAE. So now I happen to have the problems I'm dealing with this client in UAE, Singapore, and India, and here. 3 years back, they have some establishment they have opened in England also. So now, for me, international arbitration is a subject where I'm working. And domestic arbitrations, I've done a number of matters. Even now, I don't remember even. Since 2009, my first case was reported in All India Reporter in 2009 about arbitration. Of course, first time my case was reported when my practice was only 4 years old in 1984. That was a partition matter, a civil matter it was. I have so many judgments reported as far as my name is concerned. I had a number of matters. But now I'm confined to corporate matters, corporate works, my advisory opinion on the finance matters, finance between the like India and England or England to India. This works. If somebody wants to establish a shop in India or from India to here, I'm advising those clients in a big way. And now, last week only, some client has come through, gentleman, some American gentleman. He met me and I'm advising those guys. They are having a big investment. Some fund has come to me. I'm advising them for their big investments, all legal things, on each and every details, I'm making them understand in India. So arbitration, international arbitration, domestic arbitration. In domestic, I'm doing a lot of construction arbitration. Road constructions is one of the subject which I think I am last about 5 years I dealt in as number-wise more in number than the construction civil. But international arbitrations, I'm doing quite good. Now the finance also. This is my field nowadays. I'm confining myself.
Thank you. Yeah. So what would be your advice to somebody who is doing business outside from India? What is your kind of initial advice to them? What they should be mindful of?
Outside India, in fact, if you ask me, the number are less.
Right.
But India is a hub now. India is a very developing economy. It's a very strong economy. So people are going to India from Western world, from UAE. They are putting their money now. I mean, I think I won't comment on that, but people are taking out their money from China even today, and they are spending in investing money in India. So my maximum advisory work is for Western investment people to India.
Right.
Yeah. And because that is the time, because everybody is running towards India, and India is going to give back to them in a big way.
And
big returns.
Do you see this going into multiple sectors, or is like any specific sector which is getting more boost by these foreign investors?
Praveenji, will you believe me? 3 days back, sitting in London in this house itself, I got a call. Some fund says we want to invest in steel, we want to invest in hospitality, we want to invest in pharma. Please advise us. So it is multiple sector. It is not one sector.
And if I were to ask you, what makes them attracted towards India?
Nothing. A person who is having money in his pocket is not attraction of anything for the monuments or the nature. No, it's basically money attracts money. They need that they can multiply that money in India. And this is an opportunity they have.
So what are the reasons they have?
Reasons, the population, demographics, see, the big market.
Right.
The biggest market, I must say today. That too unsaturated market.
Right.
I must say, commercially. So whosoever goes to India, big way, they'll take the return. And the legal system is so good now. I'm telling, last one decade, hats off to a legal system in India. Judiciary has gone in a different way altogether, and in the name of justice, everybody is just getting full satisfaction, because the arbitration law has changed like anything. There was after the 2015 amendment, this was amended again. So wherever there's a flaws, Government of India and the Indian judiciary is doing a lot for the investors who are in the Western world or some other world or other part of the world. And India is going to give them a big return. And that to assured return, because there's no difficulty with regard to the litigation, long litigation, it's nothing. Now there's a time limit in the arbitration also. You have to decide the arbitration within 1 year.
Really?
Yeah, it is. So, therefore, that is the reason the people are just going that side. It's nothing that they like the very nature there or their heat in the month of June. No, nobody likes the heat, I tell you. It's only they like the India because the money is there. That is the reason.
I think that's a great reason for them to be in India. But do you think their footprint in India is making things better for people in India as well? Or is it more like investors investing and taking the money out of India?
Well, this question has double answer.
Right.
One is politically, which I will refrain from commenting because I'm a political man. I'm not a political man at all. I don't want to get into the politics. Some newspaper reports have seen, and I've heard also, some of the gentlemen have talked to me also, that last about 5, 6 or 7 years, a lot of people have left India with their big money. And they have uprooted their establishment from India. Their reason may be political, maybe some ethical or whatever it is. I don't count. But whatever the money has gone out of India by Indians, more than 20 times, maybe 50 times money has been invested in India by the different people from the different part of the world. So it doesn't make a difference.
These long-term investments.
In long-term investment, it doesn't make. India is a very big country; it doesn't make a difference.
Right.
Even if 1 lakh people come or 2 lakh people approve themselves from India, it doesn't make a difference.
Of course,
yeah. It doesn't make a difference. Right. So politically, I won't comment because politically it is not good, and people say so many things because politicians are like us. We have to do our best to get the best deal to a client. Similarly, if politics is there, in political gentleman of a political party, he will do everything under his control to win the seat and to remain the power. So I don't accuse him.
maybe a slightly philosophical question, but we can jump onto the law again. But I think maybe I'll ask this. Do you think politicians in a country are more like a reflection of the people because people vote for them? So do you think they are a reflection of people per se? Is that the way to look at them? Okay,
It is very difficult question.
Answer.
And that I cannot and I should not. I am refrain.
Okay, so going back to the law, sir.
Yes.
I think I've got plenty of other questions on especially with your kind of legal journey and the legal specialism you had. But maybe if I can just take you back in time and like you started getting reporting of your cases and like 1985, you said first case got reported and you must have been very young, enthusiastic lawyer at the time. Of course, you can tell me how did you feel at the time, but then just if you can give one of your reported cases which you still think was a landmark in your view. Of course, they are all landmarks, and they must be something. That's why they are reported. Yes. But then, if you can pick not one, but maybe a few, if you want to share something about them.
Well, there are a number of judgments. Believe you me, I don't remember even. My office staff have a list and all the copies. I told them to have a copies of everything. I'll have it sent across to you. But I remember still one case that was not a corporate law matter. That was a very interesting case and very important case. That was when I won that case. It was on television. It was in newspaper. It was on radio even. 10 o'clock midnight, 10 o'clock night news. It was there. And I was thrilled. I was really thrilled to know that because two stalwarts of that time and today's time, one of them is still alive and is stalwart even today in his own world. I respect him. He's one of the genius lawyers of the country. He was opposing me. He's one of the top lawyers of the country was opposing me. He argued about 3 days. Then he left the brief because he was contesting an election for the parliament. Then another gentleman who came on the scene, he is a legend in his own field, not only in field of law, but in the politics also. He is very well respected man. Even after he is no more in the world. He was opposing me for 7 days continuous. And there was a division bench in Delhi High Court, argued before them. After about 6-7 days, when they finished the arguments, my turn came. And I was thinking what to talk now. I said, Lordship, everything has been conveyed to this honorable court. But the only difficulty is the perspective is different. My perspective is different. If Lordship permit me, I can do that. But I don't think I need to repeat everything. He said, no, Mr. Sharma, you just, whatever we heard, it heard. It is your turn. You have your own time. You tell me how much I'll take. I say about 1 day time. Then they had a big laugh. Division bench had a big laugh. He said, they argued 7 days continuous. You say 1 day. I say, I don't argue the way they have argued. Because I had the facts in from my favor. It was a case of quo warranto writ petition. So ultimately, I argued it out. And the gentleman who decided who was the presiding judge, later on became the judge of a United Nations court. And now he's the president of the United Nations court.
Nice.
This is ICJ.
ICJ.
He's not UNC. This is ICJ court. He's become the president of the ICJ court. He is the judge who decided. Ultimately, after about 15 days, when after this judgments came, I was thrilled. This is the Indian judiciary. It was in 1995. It was, I remember. So my practice was just almost 14 years old that time. And it was difficult, but I tell this has two messages. One is Indian judiciary. They don't bother. The judges don't bother at all, whether you're stalwart, how big you are as a senior lawyer, having this gown with the flap, QC, or irrespective of knowledge, irrespective of court craft, they would do justice. Even if a lawyer who is not having a silk, even a lawyer who is not having that kind of a court craft, he is arguing before the judge. They will look into the documents, they'll look into the matter, they will apply the law, and they'll decide. So that is also reported judgment. And I don't think on that subject of quo warranto, which we raised in that matter, have been raised again. That was the last judgment, I think, is still holding good. So this is.
So if you could just explain what quo warranto is, perhaps.
Quo warranto is a writ petition when a person has occupied a seat in government without following the due process of law. I mean, somebody has been appointed on the post of, suppose, director or director general,
Right.
in the government. And you know that the rules have been flouted, laws have been violated, and the government has done a favor in appointment as a director general of that very department.
So you were representing the individual or
I
society?
was representing the complainant, saying that it was a wrong appointment.
So was it a PIL?
No, it was not PIL.
Okay.
Because I used to work as a subject of philanthropist.
Right, so pro bono.
Pro bono kind of matter I was doing that time for a union leader, and new leader came, said this director general or MD or managing director has been appointed wrongly, or a chairman has been appointed wrongly.
Right.
So he should be removed.
Right.
So that ultimately in the night the news came, he was removed overnight.
Really?
Overnight he was removed. And it was all throughout newspapers and everything. So it's not that. So it has two messages. One, the Indian judiciary is none to second. Two, I was lucky enough to have that kind of a matter before the stalwarts with opposing us. I learned a lot from them because they are seniors. You have to learn a lot. So that has contributed towards my journey. That education which we get in the courtrooms from our seniors when they are opposing us, that added to that.
Tell me more about this courtroom education. Like I used to hear that as well, and I mean, I can say this. I think sometimes I used to hear, and I haven't had the privilege of arguing too many cases, but I think hear that you need to follow the judge's mood on the day itself. I mean, is that somehow gets into consideration when you're presenting a case? And then just maybe if you can talk about more about the education.
Well, courtroom education. It is no doubt everybody thinks, oh, today judge mood wasn't good, so he didn't hear me properly. I take it differently, and I believe it differently. And that's why I like all judges. And I think judges like me. Otherwise, there was no occasion for them to grant me the silk.
Of course.
And that why I like judges, because I know once I go in front of the judge with the matter, I do not go at all in a tense mood. I go in a very relaxed, and I wear a big smile, and that was a genuine smile on my face. And once you face anybody with a genuine smile, whether the judge or maybe beautiful lady, so they are bound to talk to you in a different fashion. Yes. So, judge is a human being. Judge is sitting to grant you relief. Judge is sitting there to hear your problem. He may be having a problem. He may be having some bad mood. Doesn't matter. But once you go, and it depends on what kind of mood you have, what kind of a thinking you have in your mind when you just talk to the judge, when you go and present your case. And once you go with this biggest smile on the face, it's just, Lordship, just a small matter I'm troubling you. You start like that. It has a different meaning.
So it's your personality.
Your personality, of course, is a God's grace, your face as well. What kind of features you have, what kind of complexion you have, what kind of a smile you have, what kind of a experience they have, previous experience judges have about you. If judges know that this person comes to me and he was a good last time, so he will listen to you. It's not that. It's not that. So it's entire, it's not one thing, it's a lot of things put together. And you can see this personality of a lawyer.
And that was one of my questions, actually.
Yeah, so it is a lot of things.
Yeah, what kind of personality traits?
So, like, you have to have the smiling face. You should not be tense before the judge. Because if you are tense, you are making a judge tense again. And you should be ready to answer whatever he put to you. You should be thorough with the brief. You at times may forget the law, but the facts, you should be master of the fact as a lawyer. Master of the fact. Judge has a right to put a question from anywhere. He has a right to grill you because he wants to help you, but only if you're good, if you're true, if you're honest, if you're really grieved. It's not you are just faking a grievance. No.
Which happens often.
Which happens. Look, in India, there are Like in England, you file affidavits here. You file affidavits in India in support of your case. Here, costs are imposed in every matter without exception. In India, it is not. So even if you raise a wrong points or wrong defense, you lose. You are happy because you had troubled the other side for a long time. There's no cost. It's not measured. Two, there's no punishment on taking a false plea.
Is it really? Perjury is not an offense in India?
Perjury is not taken. No, if you raise a perjury ground and you file a separate petition for the perjury, they will take it seriously. They will send you jail in India also. But it is not seen in the proceeding as such. Out of two affidavits, one is false one. That is the problem. Then in that every matter there has to be a perjury otherwise in that case.
Right.
So litigation is abundance. That is the one reason of the litigation. The pendency is abundance because of this reason. Administrative side, you see, administration, the people who are sitting in the administration, they don't take the right decision. They don't visualize the kind of problem is to be faced by the citizen. So these are the things. But I mean, we as a lawyer can't do anything. We can only give suggestions. At times, courts pass some directions to the government. It's for the government to decide it, government to take the remedial measures. I mean, as a lawyer, you have a limited role in society, of course. And of course, in the court, you have the pivotal role to play.
So let's get back to the courtroom again. So in the courtroom, how do you maintain your focus when like so much going on? And I think it depends again how the judge is grilling you and what kind of questioning and again what your previous counsel or lawyer has presented the case. How do you maintain the focus even though you have a good fact with you, law is with you as well? But how do you remain focused?
It's like a football match.
Right.
You go, football can come from anywhere. You should be vigilant enough from where it is coming and where it has to go. So you can do the only when you had a good practice, when you have good command over the facts of the case. Because to my mind, for lawyer to become a good lawyer is a command of law and command of language. In addition, you must know when you have to apply the law and what kind of language you have to use. So this is very important for me. And nobody can say I'm the perfect in language, even me. Nobody can say I'm perfect in the law, even me. But I always try to understand the matter from the client, from the briefing counsel, from the angle of a judge. As a senior counsel, my duty is to understand from the angle of a judge. I have to become the devil's advocate. What kind of a question I'm going to face by the judge? What kind of questions I have to face from the other side? So I have to be ready with that in advance. And judge is not going to put so many questions to you. He'll put 1, 2, or 3 maximum, and he'll come to the depth. He will measure your depth. We have a good judge in India. It's not that. So he'll measure the judge depth, how much study you have, how much law you know about the subject.
Would you like to talk about the judges?
Well, it is not good again. But anyway, I will, of course.
Without naming them.
Well, my experience, last 46 years of practice, I think I've seen 99% judges are good to me, and I've seen they're good to, they know 1% exceptions. Of course, you can talk about that.
I mean, I was going to more ask about what makes a good judge. That kind of question I would.
Good judge. That's why I'll appreciate the British judges. Right. I've seen that in the British courts as well. The British judges are very patient. They give the full hearing. And other side also here in England.
Maybe they only have few cases.
Maybe there are other reasons. And the other side also, they don't interrupt in between. They don't provoke you in between. So you maintain your patience, patient your arguing matter. In India, it's difficult. The problem of interjections in between is there. Shouting is there. At times, a man does not argue, the senior advocate doesn't want to shout, but he has to because the other side is doing the same thing. You can't help it. So it has become a routine there. So that has to be stopped. And judges, new judges coming up, they are trying their best. They don't allow interjection, but they still do. That does happen. And let's see how much time it takes to be a good judge. But to my mind, good judge should be the patient listener, and he should not make an opinion in the first 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes.
If I were to ask you, if you can, without naming the judge, maybe perhaps few judges, if you can mention as to why you really thought that they were outreaching.
Yeah, well, I can take the name, but the judge who is no more in the world, and he was a very good judge. When I started, Mr. Justice H.L. Anand, he was very, very learned man. He was a very, good at all the subjects of law and very humble man. I happens to have one case before him when my practice was hardly about 5-6 years old, 7 years. I argued a matter before him. I argued one point. I said, Lordship, this is 1 point. He said, next. I said, this is it. I said, next. He said, the third is this. He said, Mr. Sharma, I tell you one thing. These 3 points are not going to work with you. You raise 4th and 5th point, they are good for you. That is the kind of a judge.
Well, isn't he becoming a party to the case then? Is he not?
No. He said, what you have written in the matter,
right.
4th and 5th, that is the point which are going to happen.
Also, you have already presented that.
Yes, already presented before the judge. Right. Nowadays, we don't have that kind of a judges.
Yeah, I think it's quite encouraging for young lawyers.
That was the encouraging. That's why I said that is something added to my journey. I got one judge. Very interesting, I tell you if you have time. I was arguing a case. It was Division Bench number 6, presided by Justice S. Ranganathan, late Justice, there is no more, and Justice Leela Seth, who was the first Chief Justice, woman judge. Court number 6, Delhi High Court. I'm talking about 1981. I was hardly about 1.5 years old in the profession. 1 year old in the profession. Mr. Binder, who was my senior, I told you. His father-in-law died, so he had to go to Amritsar for some rituals. And it was a case, big case, for me at least. It was a case of a club. In Delhi, there's a club, Chelmsford Club. And we were there were 2 committees, the executive committee and the minority who was fighting with them. So we were for the minority, and the executive committee there was a fight for some issues there. So Mr. Bindra was there in the district court, and they argued, and some relief was granted to Mr. Bindra in the case, but maximum relief was granted to the committee which was in the club. So we filed appeal against that in the High Court. The High Court matter went before this division bench of Honorable Mr. Justice Ranganathan and Justice Leela Seth. Unfortunately, because of that, he could not appear. And he asked me on telephone, he said, Mr. Sharma, just try to take date because it's a big matter for us because this is something unfortunate and unseen incident that happens. I had to go for this ritual because of the death of my father-in-law. I said, okay, fine, I'll do that. I went to the court. As usual, the junior lawyer goes, having 1 year of practice. I said, Lordship, I'm sorry, Mr. Bindra is, because of this XY decision, is not able to do this. He was turning the pages. He found my name also. He says, you are also in this matter. I say, yes, I'm also there. He said, how do you take the plea of Mr. Bindra is not available? You must argue the matter. You know the matter.
Oh, he put you on the spot.
I was taken aback. Lord, I got instructions because Mr. Bindra is leading me in the matter. He's a senior advocate, having this, since he was conferred a silk already. He said, nothing doing. You have to argue the matter. Had your name not been there in the matter, at the foot of the appeal, you have signed it as if it appears that you know the grounds of appeal and you have prepared this matter. Mr. Bindra is a senior advocate. He has not prepared the appeal. I say, Lordship is correct. But my instructions are from the client that this matter being a very heavy matter for me, client wants to be argued by the Mr. Bindra only. He said, no, I'm not going to. We are not going to agree. I can argue and we can adjourn the matter only on the condition that Mr. Bindra comes tomorrow. Still, we will not allow him to argue. You have to argue the matter. You go back to your homework, come prepared, argue the matter. Then I came out of the court. And the matter was adjourned only for next day. So, client was really in the bad shape. He said, what to do, sir? I said, look, I don't know. Judge has directed me. I owe my duty towards the court. I have to argue the matter tomorrow. You be happy or not happy does not make a difference to me. Or you can say to the court tomorrow, Mr. Sharma is being discharged from this case. We will not engage him. He was in a big fix. He said, okay, Sharma sir, you argue the matter. We can't help it. Next day, I argued before division bench. I owe them even today. And I will in my whole life. This division bench encouraged me to argue the matter. Vinji, believe me, I argued about 1 hour, 25 minutes that matter. And the impugned judgment was running into 158 pages. Impugned judgment itself. It was very voluminous documents. And both the judges were talking in between, consulting each other. Then he said, no, we are not satisfied, come tomorrow. Again, see the kind of encouragement they used to give to the younger bar.
That is
These judges are responsible to making me a lawyer. Good, whatever the good, bad, what I am. Those kind of judges are missing today. Again, I about 40 minutes argued. Then with the biggest smile, Justice Rangan said, Mr. Sharma, you have been able to make out a point, but still there is one point is still not cleared by you, that there is a deficiency of the court fee. And you have not made up in the time with the details. Come tomorrow. Third day, Mr. Bindra has reached. The clerk has informed him everything, that judge is not leaving Mr. Sharma and he is arguing. And now judge is with Mr. Sharma. My senior was so happy that I just hardly put 1 year and I have argued that so big appeal before the division bench that too. It is in India, I don't know here, it's a big deal. A lawyer having 1 year of practice, arguing before division bench and the big appeal in going different volumes. Third day, Bindra Sahab, I said, good morning, sir. He met me in the court downstairs. He said, no, I'm not going to the court. You take care of the matter. You argue the matter. No, I'm not going. Because, sir, it's a finer, sir. He said, nothing doing, go and argue the matter. I said, take it, sir. Fine. I went. Within first 10 minutes, I said, Lordship, I have read it, and there is a provision and there is a section 149 in there. Lordship has the power to extend time. Oh, yes, I also seen that. No problem. We are admitting appeal now. We are granting me the injunction, the relief, everything he granted to me.
wow.
And the top of it, Pravinji, the fact is, who was appearing in my opposition? I have full respect for this man. He was a senior advocate. Even before partition of India, I have seen judgment of Privy Council. He was appearing before Lahore High Court. Professor Vedvyas was appearing that time. He was my opponent, along with Justice N.S. Sistani Sahab. He was a senior advocate, very good judge, very good lawyer, very good human being, fantastic. His son became my friend and he became a judge of a high court. Wonderful judge he became. So those were the days when they used to treat the junior lawyer like this and they make us as a lawyer.
But I think credit goes to you as well because you took the challenge as well. Maybe not the challenge, but the opportunity to learn. Because the first day when he would have said, you perhaps were not prepared. And then then what happened? Did you sleep all night? Did you not sleep all night? How did you prepare for that? That's what was more curious.
I remember exactly, there is a phrase, burning the midnight oil. Okay? In fact, it was like burning the midnight oil, because in those good old times, the electricity was a big problem in the city, Delhi. It was so I remember distinctly the very first day, the electricity wasn't there in where I was, because I wasn't living in this kind of house that time. I just started my practice. My family was in a different place. I just had a small room where I was living, and there was no electricity. Believe you me, I just had 2 candles. The candlelight, I prepared that matter.
That was really
Yes.
burning the candlelight.
Candles. So I remember that. I prepared this matter in the candlelight. I remember that.
That's a huge accomplishment.
That is. But it's a lot.
But I think I agree with you. It's the courtroom education plus your wit as well that you really took that upon yourself, and then you managed to perform and deliver.
But I had a fire to become something, to do something great, to do good cases, to fight it out, to have the court craft, to have one word the judge, this thing, that thing, the lawyers. I mean, I always had that fire in my belly that I should do something great.
If I were to ask you, where did you get that fire and how did you maintain that?
Well, I don't know exactly, but it is maybe natural. But I remember one thing that my father used to say, he used to say in Hindi, Urdu, he said, if you have hosla, nobody can beat you. Means courage. If you have a courage, nobody can beat you. If you don't have courage, then you can't stand anywhere. So that hosla was with me, and still I'm going great still. Of course, my field, I just synchronized my field, only arbitrations, corporate work, and then financial advice and advisory on opinion work I've done. So I'm going that way.
Of course, you have foundation built up now, and then now you just doing more.
And same thing has gone to my son, Kartik. Now he's a barrister here. He's doing all sorts of work here. He's a commercial barrister. So that is the story.
No, that's a great story. I think I wanted to kind of touch upon a few maybe smaller details about your story. So you did mention about you being living in a small room when you were practicing for this particular case and your family was away. How much impact that was on your legal career? Because I think some people would be a little bit torn apart if the family has to maintain something else and they are still struggling. And the legal struggle, the career struggle of a lawyer. I mean, I know you had some early successes, as you said. So perhaps your journey may not be as equivalent to the others, but something maybe you can share.
No, like family means my parents and my brother and sister were living separately in a different place, about 50 kilometers away in the Baraut.
Right.
But I wasn't
married at the time.
No, I wasn't married at that time.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so family is not to be taken that way. I married in 84.
Right.
So by the time I was having some kind of a stability, a bit of stability, but it was a struggling period. I won't say it was not. Because struggle for a lawyer does not end at least for 10 years first. And if you have struggled for 10 years, then nobody can beat you.
So what would be your advice for the young, upcoming, aspiring lawyers, or perhaps the lawyers who are in the university these days? What would be your key advice to them if you were to give?
Well, if you ask me, in a nutshell, the 3 triple P are must. I would say the perseverance. You should not quit. Doing it, keep doing it, continue. Doesn't matter. You lose, win, get money, don't get money. Doesn't matter. Perseverance. Second, you must have patience. Your day would come. Your turn is bound to come. You're bound to succeed. You must have this conviction. Perseverance. And second is the patience you must have. Abundance of patience. And third is you must have a personality of a lawyer. That you should like a lawyer. You should not be a lawyer. You should like a lawyer. You should behave like a lawyer. You should stand like a lawyer. People should recognize in the public that you're a lawyer. By your personality, people must know. And if not by personality, at least by talking to 3 sentences, they must know that you are a lawyer. The triple P is must for a lawyer to succeed in this profession.
I'll remember that. And then, so on the personality one, perhaps. So what could they add up to their personality? Where they can find those things? Where they should look for it?
Look, how the cops catch a thief. The moment thieves see the cops, he'll run away. He start running. Meaning thereby there is something wrong with you. So if you are not ready with the matter, you will not try to face a judge. You'll be very evasive. Meaning thereby, don't steal, don't cheat, be the full knowledge, have the full knowledge.
It's a hard work.
It's a hard work. You must know that. You must be thorough with the subject. So you can face everybody. You will not run. Number one. Two, once you know the subject, dear Praveen, you know. Once you have the knowledge, it is on here. You're here. The confidence is here. You very biggest man, judge put a question. You have a full confidence. You will not answer. You what is smile to him. And that will convey that you know the answer. Quite possibly he may not insist to answer. He said, okay, forget about it. Get me this answer. That's another question. So you should be full of confidence. Confidence, and you should have courage to face the court. If there's some questions are coming, which you think is not to be raised, or which are awkward questions, or which you are not prepared, you should have the courage to face the judge. So that is something, if you are really to want to become a lawyer, so there's no shortcut to success. You have to hard work. You have to do. This is a profession which really requires hard work. Quite possibly in doctor, you don't require that much. Once you get a job, you start working on the patients. They are coming to you. Here, you have to. The problem is in this profession, you have to procure the work. You have to execute the work, and you have to deliver to the client, and further you take the money from the client. It has threefold job. So hard work is every step. Procurement is the most difficult job in this profession.
Absolutely.
And that does not become easy unless you have delivered in the court. It's like chicken and egg story. Which comes first? Unless I get a case, I can't deliver. I could not deliver because I couldn't get a case. So it doesn't matter. Wherever you're working, you may be working on a Baraut brief, maybe working on a senior's brief, maybe working as junior assistant. You must be good in that. Your hard work speaks for itself, I tell you. If you're thorough with the brief, thorough with the law, nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you, I tell you.
So knowledge is important for a lawyer.
Yes.
And to acquire the knowledge, lawyer must do hard work.
If I remember, I never slept before 1:30 or 1:30 in those days for 10 years.
So if I were to ask, what's the secret recipe for your great health at this stage? I mean, if you're saying, nowadays here, they say, sleep well, early, and all these concepts are there now.
No, be happy because you must enjoy work. You don't get tired. If you enjoy work, you don't get tired, your health is good. Because otherwise also, I have only one passion to become a lawyer, good lawyer. At times, I used to go for a play, that to golf, which I picked up in England only. In 89, I came to England. 89, I remember June, I came for a case. I remember the case now. It was a WT Air Cargo Limited, London. There was a company here, established in London. And there was another company in India, Express Movers. I was engaged by Express Movers. So there was a breach of agreement. I came here to conduct the case. But as usual, we sent a legal notice for demand and all that. Then ultimately we came to file a claim here. And when I filed the claim here, there was a office. This is Hardingham and Company. The office used to be in the 22, 23 grade, some street in London. I don't know what's the name. So I came here, and when they met me, they said, before we received the claim, but we want to talk to you. And I stayed for a month that time in England, first time. And he said, would like to go for a compromise. And matter was compromise. My client got a good money. And I stayed here about a month. So here I picked up the golf. So I used to play the golf at times. I play at times. Here also I go to the golf course.
I remember you said you go to skiing as well.
Yeah, skiing, because I got a client, I tell you, he was a Mr. De Silva. Mr. De Silva is from Chamonix, is a town in the France. And he is a Hellis king. And he has 6 or 7 times world record holder from the Guinness Book. World record. And he was my client. His girlfriend used to live in Bangalore. And they had a helicopter. It was crashed sometime, JNK or something. Some problem was there. And they has a big claim. So I was defending them. And he became my client. And he inspired me to go for skiing. And since 2008 onwards, is a annual ritual that we go for the skiing. And I won't say I become a pro, but I love it and I do it, whatever I can do. I go every year. This year I went to Australia for skiing. Last time I went to Switzerland for skiing. So that is like in winters we can go. Of course, so my son has become almost a pro in skiing now. Nice. Yeah, so this is that. But lawyers has so many, so many aspects. I mean, different aspects in the life he explored, and so many people come in his life, and he learns a lot from society. A lot of clients, any person can be good, inspired to you, and so you have to keep your eyes and ear open.
So too many opportunities to build up relationships and learn.
Yes.
That's what.
I think this profession teaches you and really make you men. I don't think any other profession, of course, I mean, my knowledge is only because of this profession, so I can say that. Maybe other professionals may be saying the same thing. But to me, nothing to beat this profession. I had a lot of opportunity of different kind, maybe golf, maybe skiing, maybe law, maybe finance, maybe even social skill at times. A lot of people. I was doing some kind of the gentleman, some divine institute was there. They used to, like some kind of a
yoga practice or
not yoga practice, something beyond than yoga, all this and this. There are in a big way the Krishna Bhakti.
Okay.
So and this is they decide of that to call
Prabhupada you're talking about? ISKCON?
Not ISKCON. ISKCON nahi. I'm just forgetting the name of gentleman. Katha, Bhagwat Katha.
Right.
Okay. And they had Bhagwat at Kailash Mansarovar even. They were my client. So they taught me a lot of things, spiritualism, religion, Lord Krishna, and a lot of Lord Krishna's leelas. And I mean, so you learn a lot in this profession. You don't know from which corner of the world man can come to you, what kind of profession he may be having, what kind of knowledge he's having in his mind. You learn a lot. So you become a complete man before you go up. I think I love this profession, I tell you.
I think that's incredible.
Just see, you met me because of this profession.
Of course, yes, no.
You met me because of this profession.
I truly enjoy meeting lawyers, and I think that's something I can relate with. So, thank you really so much. Yeah. I think it's been really great talking to you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. I can go on with more questions. I think you touched on spirituality. Next time we can.
A lot of stories we have.
Yes. But I think now, thank you so much indeed.
My pleasure. My pleasure.